Hi, I'm Eli Cusick, and I'm going to be sharing my JavaScript application. I created a simple memory game. Um, so the goal of this project was to create a single page application. So one HTML page, then all views are changed only using JavaScript, and then it's going to link to a Rails API on the back end, and that's going to handle all the holding the data, so fetch requests to and from the API. So real quick, I'll just show you how it works, and then I'll show you back in the code how it's structured and whatnot. So rather than having a user sign up, I just created sort of like a user Muppet avatar to mimic a user, sort of save me time on building the application since we only had a week. So at this point, you can check to see the high scores. So this is fetching from that Rails API and scoping out which Muppets had the highest scores, listing them in order, yada, yada, yada. And then over here, these are the decks to choose from. I only created 2 decks so far. So you choose which deck you want to work with. And then I created a simple scoring system based on where the timer's at. And then this middle card here is supposed to correspond with one of the surrounding cards. You have to choose the correct one. Choose the correct one, you score. Otherwise, so if you do the incorrect one, then you get minus points. So simple enough. So we'll take you into the code to show you how I structured it to handle all the different view changes. I found out afterward that basically my instructor told me that I created my application to mimic React, which I didn't realize I was doing. We hadn't gotten to React yet. I was just doing what made sense. So first of all, here's my HTML page. There's very little on here. I basically just created these 2 stable containers, which I would append and wipe HTML elements from each time there's a change. So most of the work is happening in these classes. I created these page classes. They inherit using JavaScript's prototypal inheritance. And this just mostly handles the view change logic. So wiping the panel, just every HTML element that has the class panel will get removed. And that's how I wipe it. And then building it, I just, I pass in an array of elements. So let's see, take one of these. Let me see. So these are the HTML fragments right here, main and side panel. And these contain just basically segments of HTML passed through as a string. So kind of like React's JSX, although React's JSX is actually creating elements. But this was just easier to look at for me. I could kind of tinker with it as I was editing the application. And then once I had it the way I wanted it, I could just copy and paste, put it in here, and good to go. This is the one area if I was going to build on top of this application, I would redo this structure because right now it's fine. But if I was to build on top, this would get pretty unruly. This one isn't so bad. I think the main one, almost 200 lines at this point. So it's just kind of getting to be a bit much. So I definitely refactor that. Hoping to add a practice element and let me see what else. Be able to create and edit decks of cards and have that associated with the user. ultimately I decided I'm not going to do that because React is much better suited for that. So that's what I'm going to do for my React project, is basically build all the functionality I wanted to add onto this, which is what led to creating this structure. I knew I wanted to do a whole lot of different stuff, a whole bunch of different view changes. So once I got the basic game structure worked out, I was like, okay, how am I going to continue to build on top of this? And so I broke it out, used a whole bunch of object orientation in order to structure the application. Let me see what else is interesting here. These models here, like card and deck, these basically use the attributes from the Rails API and just create instances when those fetch requests are called. So here's my API class. This handles all the fetch requests, so getting stuff from, and then also sending stuff to the Rails API. Once the game is over, create sort of a game log. So that way we can track information and who has the high scores and whatnot. So each time a game is over, that'll be logged away. So yeah, that's my application. Thanks for watching.